Talk about another important tissue of our chapter, and that is connective tissue, right? Connective tissue, just look at its name. As the name indicate, mostly widely spreaded, it's a widely distributed tissue, and it is a link, it support other tissues as well as the organs. Two important things about this tissue: it is a link, it is a link, and it connect other tissues, other organs of the body, as well as it support them. And the most important point about this tissue, that it is a tissue which is most abundant present and widely distributed in the body of complex animals, and it is written as the CT. It contains three things majorly: it contains cells, fibers, and a ground substance which is known as matrix. Now if you ask that how the cells, because many cells they together they form a tissue, so how do the cells they look like in connective tissue? They are loosely arranged, they are widely separated from each other, and the material which hold them, or the material which is present between these cells, that is called extracellular material, and this is called the matrix. So now one most important question which comes in mind when I say matrix: actually this matrix, it is made by these cells only. I come to you that because this is very important question for NEET, that this connective tissue, it is formed by a layer which is called mesoderm, right? We know that there are three layers, we are triploblastic in nature, and there are three layers: ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. So connective tissue is formed by the mesodermal layer. There are the cells in this tissue which secrete fibers. Two types of fibers they can secrete: one is collagen and one is elastin. If collagen is secreted, then it is known as white fibers. If elastin is present, then it is yellow fibers. But few cells of this tissue, they also secrete modified polysaccharides which are known as glycoproteins, and these are the proteins which make your matrix, or which makes the ground tissue. So there are cells in the this connective tissue which secrete fibers also, and there are the cells, and these cells they secrete glycoproteins also, which make ground substance, or you call it as a matrix. So if the question comes in your exam that what is the matrix of CT, or I will say connective tissue, it is made up of, what will you say? That is the glycoproteins, which are the modified polysaccharides, as well as it secretes two types of fibers. Which type of fibers? Collagen and elastin. Collagen is when collagen is secreted, these are known as white fibers. When elastin, it appears as yellow fibers. But we have one connective tissue which is even without fibers, and that connective tissue is known as blood, which is widely spread, distributed throughout the body. Now the problem sometime we face is in the classification, which is mentioned in a different manner in different books, but I'm going to take arrangement on the three main types. So classification we have going to discuss is based on how is the arrangement of cells in this connective tissue. Few cells in this connective tissue, they are loosely arranged. Few cells, they are compactly arranged, and few cells, they are very, very special types. In mostly books, you will find that there are only mentioned loosely and compactly arranged. In few books, they have mentioned 3 types, but we will discuss these 3 types, right, one by one. So how you are going to classify? With the arrangement of cells in a tissue. Which type of arrangement? That cells, they are loosely arranged, or they are tight, compactly arranged, or they are special type. So classification when we do, first is the loose connective tissue. When they are compactly arranged, then we call them as the dense connective tissue. And then third is our special connective tissue. Now, let's talk about the loose connective tissue. Loose, as you just can understand from the name, loose connective tissue. Cells are loosely arranged in a matrix. Cells जो हैं, they are not tightly packed, right? They are arranged very, very loose manner. And on the basis of that, we have 2 types of connective tissue. Loose connective type is further 2 types, areolar and adipose. Areolar connective tissue, in which cells are loosely arranged, it is present under the skin. And adipose tissue, it is mostly which is present in the fats, that is the adipose connective tissue, right? If we talk about dense connective tissue, now you know that cells and the fibers, they are compactly, very tightly packed or arranged. On the basis of that, arrangement packed है, but वो भी कैसी है? Regular है कि irregular है? On the basis of this, dense connective tissue is of 2 types. Dense regular connective tissue, जिसमें arrangement बहुत proper है, बहुत regular है. And one type is in which arrangement is very irregular, randomly. And this dense regular is further of 2 types on the base of fibers. If the collagen is present, it will appear as white fibers. If elastin is present, then it will appear as yellow fibers, which is the mostly found in the ligaments. And dense irregular, these are the fibers which are randomly arranged, and it is found below our skin, right? Now comes to the special connective tissue. It has 3 types, right? Actually, few books, they include the mucoid also, so we will discuss it. Vascular connective tissue or fluid connective tissue, that is the main special connective tissue, but they are having blood and the lymph. Vascular connective tissue, it comes under the category of special connective tissue, and it is of 2 types, blood and lymph. Then comes your skeletal connective tissue, in which ground substance is very, very compact. And the example or the category which we will discuss, bone एंड कार्टिलेज. बोन भी 2 तरह की होती है, एक बहुत ही हार्ड बोन्स होती हैं, कॉम्पैक्ट बोन्स होती हैं, और एक हम डिस्कस करेंगे स्पॉन्जी बोन्स. एंड कार्टिलेज इज ऑल्सो ऑफ 3 टाइप्स, हेलाइन कार्टिलेज, फाइब्रस कार्टिलेज एंड कैल्सिफाइड कार्टिलेज. एक बार फिर से देखेंगे. We have special connective tissue, in which first category is vascular connective tissue or fluid connective tissue, which is further of 2 types, blood and lymph. Second category is skeletal connective tissue, in which ground material is very, very compact, and it is also of 2 types, bone and cartilage. Bone can be of two types: very hard, compact bones, and spongy bones. Cartilage can be hyaline cartilage, fibrous cartilage, and calcified cartilage. And the other special type of connective tissue is reticular connective tissue and mucoid connective tissue. Now, these are the major classification: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and special connective tissue. But in some books they have mentioned connective tissue proper. Connective tissue actually proper is nothing. It only includes and talks about loose and dense connective tissue. It says that the connective tissue which is mesodermal in origin, which has fibers and cells, which has loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. It is also known as connective tissue proper. तो अगर एग्जाम में ऐसा क्वेश्चन आता है that connective tissue proper includes, then you can mention that loose एंड डेंस कनेक्टिव टिश्यू को कंबाइन करके आपका कनेक्टिव टिश्यू प्रॉपर बनता है. और रेस्ट जो आपका ब्लड, लिम्फ, बोन, कार्टिलेज, दीज ऑल आर द एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ स्पेशल कनेक्टिव टिश्यू, राइट. बट एरियोलर, एडिपोज and white, yellow fibers, these are the examples of dense connective tissue. So this is about the classification of connective tissue, right, which is already I told you that the connective tissue mainly has cells, it has fibrous, it has ground substance which is made up of glycoproteins. It has fibers which is yellow white fibers as well as the yellow fibers. So please paste this classification on your table or on your board, because this is going to be very important classification for us in the next